this week here, big 3 games on the road before you come back home. What are your thought process heading to Kansas City and then New York and Philly?
Yeah, look, I think defensively we have to show resiliency. I don't think, and when I say resiliency, we have to make plays. We have to make good decisions. When I look back at and I felt this going through the last game and several games that we've played before, like we just don't need to be losing that game. And it's not often just the one mistake. It's the mistake after mistake after mistake when we need to cut off the series of mistakes, right? Or decisions that are being made in front of us, and we tend to be compounding errors with errors, and at some point through maturity, through decision making, we need to everybody makes a mistake in the game, but the next guy needs to recognize how to make sure that it doesn't become a second mistake or a third mistake. And when you look at the 3 goals, it's a series of events that at any point we could have cut them off, and we don't cut them off, and then the game ends up and the ball ends up in the back of the net. And you look at last game, they had 4 chances and 4 goals. There's not really anything else out of it. We showed our chances. We have about 13 really promising moments. Some were chances, and then we have the 2 goals. So there's I feel like we're in control of the game. We were creating more dangerous moments, I felt like, in this last game than we have in games prior. And we need to turn those into results, and that starts with, you can't just give away goals, and that's key. So when you go on the road, there's never anything more true than you got to be solid and resilient on the defensive side, and take advantage of the moments that you can create on the attacking side. It might mean that you have a few fewer attacking moments, but you got to be even more solid on the defensive side. That's a little bit of the road mentality, and for us, it's not even really sometimes about connectedness. It truly is about making good, solid decisions through the course of plays as the series of events evolve within a play, if that makes sense, and being a little bit cleaner with that. And so that's us. I mean, I think we got to build some resiliency. We got to build be solid on the defensive side of things and continue to create opportunities and become more efficient around the goal, because I think that for us is a formula. How we do that is, we have subtle or not so subtle changes that we can do coming into it, whether that's personnel or structural or whatever, but those are the things we have to figure out. But for me, it's not a structural problem. For me, this is a problem of decision making and or execution when things are in a game or evolving. Like I could walk you through these situations where the decision and the execution need to be a little better, and we get out of it. And so it's finding the right formula for us to go on the road now and work to get points, because we need to start accumulating points.
With this stretch here, I assume you'll go home after Kansas City and then go back out for New York and Philly.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you hope this trip will bring everybody together? Away from home a little bit, sort of just rely on you with you guys to the locker room and sort of fight through.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're healthier now than we have been all season. That's a good thing. I don't think we have anyone actually training on the side. Everybody's in. Everybody is ready to go. There are no limitations on minutes or guys that we're trying to build in. Everybody's ready to go. So that's the first time I could say that for the season where we're all in. That's important. When you go on the road, I think it's sometimes about being willing to suffer a little bit at times and doing sometimes things that maybe aren't in your vision of the perfect game or the perfect day for you, but you got to buckle down and you got to do some things you don't love to do, because on the road it demands every resource and every ounce of concentration that you have. And so this is an opportunity for us that in tough times we go on a tough road trip, and we've got to become resilient, and we've got to make the right plays and find the right formulas to be successful, because we don't have, there's the margins of error for not picking up points is getting finer and finer by the game. And so this is an opportunity for us with a healthy locker room to go out and look at each other and lean on each other and get things done.
Greg, you've been in this position before where you don't get the results that you're expecting, that the players expecting. Based on that experience, what you can be working on sharing with the players, in order to get back to interact to the right place?
Yeah, I mean, I think it always starts with coming down to the foundational or basic things that you have to rely on as a foundation. Like some of the things for us defensively, like if you look at the larger stretch of the game, we defended well, but then in moments, and the game can be about moments, we have colossal series of events that we can't. So getting back on the training field and working on our fundamentals of collective defending, covering each other, decision making in some of the situations that we're recognizing are potentially creating problems for us. Again, creating clarity so that the guys feel confident in how they're trying to create opportunities on goal and trying to create moments where we can go win the game. So I think it's clarity. I think the group, they believe in each other. They believe in the things that are happening on the field, what they're getting, what our emotion is. All of us, our emotion is actually based mostly off, in my opinion, not necessarily our overall performance. It's based off a series of a few events inside of the game that actually determine whether we win or lose the game. And then your emotion is all based off winning and losing, right? And so I think what we've recognized is through large stretches of the game, we've done things quite well. But we can't allow the moments that are happening to dictate how we're losing games, because we're beating ourselves, in my opinion. We're not forcing the opposition to have to make great plays to beat us. We are undermining ourselves through this process. So we have to cut that off. And then I think if we can cut off those things, execute a little bit better in some of the final actions, though we did score 2 goals in the last game. I think we had a number of quality looks and attacks. And we've got to increase the amount of times we put the ball in the back of the net, and then our emotion starts to come into the right sort of into the right place. And I think that's not just for us. I think it's the fans. I think it's everybody. I think we found ways to undermine our performances that haven't always been. Look, we haven't played perfect, but we haven't always played poorly. But the game comes down to moments, and we've mishandled some moments on the defensive side, and we haven't executed some on the attacking side. So we need to reward ourselves for good performances and complete our performances for 90 minutes.
Go ahead, Josh.
Hey, Greg, thanks for taking the time. Appreciate it. Looking at Sporting Kansas City, a team that was also struggling, they went, obviously, they parted ways with Peter Vermees. What have you seen that has sort of maybe changed the way that they've played a little bit? Or, how important is this game knowing it's 2 struggling teams right now?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see drastic changes. I've known Kerry. Kerry and I are the same age. We played on the under-20 national team together. We've known each other for ages. And he's been with Peter for a long, long time. So philosophically, I think they're relatively in line. It's just subtle things maybe for them and how high they're pressing versus staying a little bit more in a mid-block and staying connected and being a little more patient, defending, opening up transitions a little more. Just things that I think are subtle approaches to the group. But I don't think he's changed a ton structurally. I don't think he's changed a ton in terms of their ideas, but they do take a little less risk through the course of the game, and they're looking to, play for their moments where they can get on top of it. And then it comes down to, again, execution. I think all of our teams have the capacity to create moments that can win games, and the question is, can you execute upon those moments? And all of our teams have the capacity to make mistakes, and ideally you want to not make mistakes and to force the opposition to beat you, and it comes down to execution. And I think for both of us, that's going to be the day, is to eliminate the things that have been ailing us through the course of the season so far and try to maximize our opportunities and execute. So I think a lot of what they've done is subtle things, but they've allowed also like Dayon to settle in their team a little bit more. He's relatively new. Other guys, they have some new faces as well that maybe just need some time to settle in and build relationships with each other on the field to improve. But for us is try to take advantage of the moment, and that's our job.
And then you guys have only played with a lead for, I think, 62 minutes this season. I know we talk about it, and it's probably beating our heads against the wall, but how important is that first goal, or at least prolonging the game and giving your guys a chance to win the game?
Yeah, I think it's really, really important from the aspect of just mindset. And I think sometimes when we can get in the lead, we can also play and feel like we can be a little more patient in the right ways and not overextending ourselves to try to win balls or trying to rush attacks or do things that I think sometimes can create vulnerabilities for us. And when you constantly feel like you're chasing, and I think that's a little bit of the challenge right now, is we can feel like we're chasing when you look at the league table, and it's a dangerous game when you feel like when you're chasing, whether it's inside a game or inside of a season. And so I think it's really important for us to work kind of the process of the game, and to get on top of the game would be a great feeling for our group, again, so that we I think it helps you to stay connected. It helps you to be, again, choose your moments a little more wisely. It also invites the opposition to then start feel like they're chasing and opening up space. And I think we have the guys who can take advantage of those situations, in Joe and Gabe and the guys that are out there now. So it would certainly be good for us. And I think, again, from a mindset perspective, but also just for maybe opening up some opportunities for us, and also feeling like we can be a little more calculated and patient sometimes.
Thanks, Greg. Travel safe.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Alex.
Hi, Greg. Thank you for your time. After Sunday's game, when we were talking to Marco, he mentioned that he kind of wanted to see more quality within the training sessions. Has that been an observation you've noted as well, maybe, over this season? It was just interesting to hear him make those comments. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it comes down. Look, this is every year and every team and every season. You know, it's individuals showing up and the collective group showing up and competing at a high level in training, taking every repetition to finish like it's a repetition in the game. It's things like that, and it gets exacerbated when you're not executing in games and when things are working against you, and it just requires more concentration, more effort in the right ways, smart effort, because it's also how the group can connect with each other and create timing and create some certainties on the field with one another. So yeah, it's a press. I would say some of it during the course of it is because when we were going through stretches of lots of games, some guys are recovering while some guys are trying to train, and you get guys in different places at different moments. But certainly during this last sort of 2 or 3 weeks where we haven't had a lot of games, it has been about execution on the training field and a collective by every single player commitment to the moment in training, which is the same as commitment to the moment in the game. I put some video up of last week going into this weekend's game. We did some 11v11 as an example, and some guys in the back line, the body orientation wasn't right, the preparation wasn't right. The ball gets hit behind our back line, we're late to react, and lo and behold, what happens in the game? They take a free kick, they drop one behind, our bodies are all flat, we're not ready to drop. It ends up being what becomes a penalty kick call. And it looks, again, it's your habits that you create in training or who you are when you show up on Saturday. So I think collectively we've been talking about that. I think Marco made it more public, but it's something that we've been talking about inside of the group, that details matter, details in training matters, because that's where you set your habits for who you're going to be on the weekend as well.
Thank you, Greg. Safe travel.
Yep.
Go ahead, Diego.
Hey, Coach. How have your expectations for the group changed from the start of the season to now and looking ahead? What are the goals for the team for the game coming up versus the LAFC, and more broadly, just the remainder of the season?
Yeah, I mean, our goals don't change. I mean, the first goal is to keep improving as individuals and collectively as a group, to try to maximize our potential and try to maximize each player inside of our collective vision and ideas. So that's a starting point. And if you do that well and everybody's playing at their level and the execution collectively is good, that sets you up to get, wins. And we haven't been able to do that for various reasons, but ultimately we're all accountable for our individual and collective performances, and therefore not getting results. So when you look at results, our objective is to, again, position yourself in the playoffs and be prepared and be playing your best when you get to the playoffs. Those are objectives. Inside of that, there was Champions League and other things that we're trying to do. But the process for me is not about a championship. The outcome is about a championship. The process is about each player and our collective group maximizing our potential on the field and being able to play at our level in the way we would like to play and impose ourselves on the game and the opposition each weekend that we come out. And that comes with a lot of challenges. It comes with the opposition throwing us challenges, and it comes with different challenges such as injuries, travel, all the things, that weird start times that we've had a lot of. Like we've got to manage all of those things and still execute and still play at our best and still execute every play inside of it. So for me, it's never to forget the process. The outcomes are the things that we want to win and what we expect in terms of our results by executing properly on the process. And we haven't raised our level high enough to get the results. I don't think we should be on 3 points. I think we should be on more points. But we deserve to be on 3 points because we haven't executed the way we need to in each of these games. So that's where we're at. I haven't
Awesome.
thought about
Thanks,
LAFC because we have games between now and LAFC that are too important for us to be thinking about them at the moment. But that game will come eventually.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep, thank you.
Greg, you're facing Gordon for the first time.
Yeah, Dayon from day one when he came here, he is a single-minded in many ways goal scorer. Like that's what he wants to do, and that's what he's out there trying to establish and set up. Inside of that, he's a guy who wants to connect with his teammates and he wants to fit in with the group. But his thought process is score goals. Period. Like that's full stop what he's thinking about doing. And so, a guy like Dayon could touch the ball 3 times, he could touch the ball 15 times, he could touch the ball 100 times. It doesn't matter for him. He's just seeking that 1, that 2, that 3 opportunities where he can try to put things away. So you've got to be mindful of his conviction to work to get to spots in front of the goal. He's always thinking about the final action. And so for us, he gave us something at the top of our attack that once the right pieces were around him, he was the benefactor of a lot of great, I think, and good chance creation, and then he could be single-minded about how do I get to those spots where these things are going to translate into goals. And a lot of the goals that you saw him score over the course of the time, there were definitely some individual actions that were incredible by him, one in the final for sure, but there was a lot of actions where he was just working within the collective and reading where to be and setting up the timing, and other guys, they were team goals, but he was the finishing product of that. So, but he had an intensity and a desire to score that the group could really use, because the rest of the group was very good at creating those opportunities for him, and he didn't have to be in the middle of the creation, even though he was at times. He could be the guy who was really organizing how to get that thing in the back of the net. So obviously he grew up here too, just in terms of being a young man when he arrived to where he was when he left, and so certainly we miss him. We miss his mentality, and in training he was the same way. He was feisty and would talk a little bit of shit and whatever. He would just kind of get things going. Sometimes people took offense, and sometimes it got the training session going. But you love that because it incites emotion in the group too. And so having somebody like that was nice to have too. So
Thanks for your time, Greg.
you got it. All right, everyone. Thank you.